So let's just kind of go over the intros here, and then we can jump into this. So we have a lot to discuss. So we're gonna jump into this kind of early on, and we're gonna get into the meat and bones of the Rovi ecosystem.
Yeah.
And so I'm in Decentraland. Let me share this link with you guys, just in case. This is good old P Dub's location. Thank you, P Dub, for allowing us to host it here.
I see a mushroom. Whose mushroom is that?
Uh,
Multiple mushrooms. Wow, somebody has a mushroom field around them, dude. That's next level.
yeah. Crypto bro, dude.
Crypto bro, dude. Hell yeah. Really, damn it, dude. Oh, this reminds me. We haven't really discussed the game jam. Game jam happened like several weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
And there
dude.
was
I forgot about that.
yeah, we unfortunately didn't get to participate in that. I don't know if you guys were aware there was even a game jam like happening. For some reason it wasn't really that like heavily publicized, but game jams are very important in Decentraland's context, right? Because it's usually like the annual or biannual event to like attracting new developers to the ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
So we checked out, I think, pretty much all the submissions, and we were impressed.
Yeah.
We saw some cool stuff.
Yeah. Someone got high, right?
Yeah, somebody made like a cool like what's that game dude that Dahlia plays?
Animal Crossing.
It was a very Animal Crossing esque experience, right? They introduced all the necessary components like to build an Animal Crossing,
Yeah.
experience. And
Yeah.
within it was like these mushrooms that grew and like altered the experience of your avatar. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
So I think we want to do like a review of the whole game jam entries at some point, just to kind of the purpose of these game jams is supposed to like showcase the potential of the SDK, right? So I mean, it's debatable because these are like new developers, so like they don't really know like the depths of it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's still important to kind of go over. But we're not going to do that today. I just thought it reminded me of that the mushrooms we just saw.
Yeah, we actually did mention it, but yeah, we didn't get into details as to what content was actually showcased there. And like you said, I was really impressed. One of Nicholas from Ethermon submitted his own content, which was a fun game. There was a couple more submissions that I really enjoyed, especially the first one. It was very zombie, Corona zombie-esque. And so
yeah, it was basically Doom, like an old school Doom feeling. Oh no, it's Diablo, not Doom, Diablo.
It was very just because of the skeletons, yeah.
The skeletons and like the different spell abilities, all that stuff. So it's good to see more entrants, but of course, the problem is like these types of events, they kind of like bring people in, and then there's just really no reason for them to stick around, because they just come for like a prize, and then they kind of just disappear after that fact.
Yeah, but the value is in this specific game jam is anyone who submitted the content, like anyone else could use what was built.
True.
So there's some value extracted from it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
All right, so let's get started. So welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, and Rovi's. And every Thursday at 10 p.m. UTC, we talk about Rovi updates, and we have a ton. So, of course, we have NFT giveaways. We're going to be giving away 3 Rovi accessories, 1 Rovi backpack wearable, and then 3 Rovi hat wearables for Decentraland. So stay tuned for that. Of course, we got the good old Pope, the delicious Pope, as they say. It's going to be given away here in, I don't know, so maybe around 30 minutes or so. All right, so we are gathered here to discuss the economy of Rovi, and this is one of our favorite subjects by far, just in general, not specifically Rovi, but the economy of things, both macro and micro scale. And we've been talking about this, and we were able to put it on paper as to what we have in our minds in that symphony that I always keep talking about. So we're able to write this symphony into to actual, I guess, whiteboard here, and we want to show you guys what that looks like. So as crazy as this gets, it reminds me of that show Always Sunny in Philadelphia, or Always Sunny. Yeah, with Charlie Day with that meme where he's like crazy and like trying to figure out something, right? That's what this looks
Yeah.
like to me. But yeah, this is it. So this is what a distributed play to earn economy looks like. So we have the landowner, the meta owner, we have the treasury, we have delegates, we have managers, we got glitch lords, and so all these components all in a symphony together, kind of working in this ecosystem, right? And so that's what this universe, this mini-verse looks like. And we've broken those down into pieces to kind of give you an idea as to exactly how everything works. So yeah, we can start here. It all starts.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, like just at first glance, right? To kind of like intuitively understand what's going on, right? But imagine looking at like any ecosystem or economy, like for overview at a first glance, and like being able to extrapolate anything from it. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's why you got to break it down into individual components, right? Because in most like robust ecosystems, you're not really expected to participate in every single facet of it, right? You choose your avenue, your place within it, right? So
yeah, like for example, if you create a business, you're not necessarily exporting your goods to other countries on day one, right? And so you're participating in a local economy, right? You're let's say you launch a restaurant, you're trying to access the local people, right, in order to come to your restaurant. But if you're a country, then your GDP relies on exports and imports. So this is, there's elements of this. So some people are going to participate in a specific activity, let's say like spectating to earn, and others are more interested in like PvP action and where you can earn a lot more, right? So we're going to get into this here during this discussion today. So I guess we should start with what we know today, right? And so it starts here with the user, and we have the user owning a Rovi and delegating that Rovi to players that are accessing their experience through this Rovi hologram. And so what's not implemented today are the challenges and the DXP that's going to go to the delegate, but you're able to digitize and earn lube, and that lube gets distributed to the landowner, the meta owner, and then the Rovi owner, which then goes to the delegate, and then potentially a manager if you have one. So I know the B1 crew is kind of leveraging this ecosystem here to create their community. But we feel like there's going to be a lot more of this kind of in the future, but like this is like the early beginnings of that. So with the challenges, you're going to have like the player who's digitizing Rovi, they're going to have specific challenges, like digitize at 10 different locations is one challenge, or digitize for 3 hours is another challenge. And so as a result of the challenges, the delegate is earning DXP. And so what is DXP? That is delegate experience points. And so what this does is it allows the delegate to acquire the glitch. So the user, in this case, the delegate who's earned DXP, would spend DXP and gears at the MetaZone store to acquire a glitch egg, which then hatches into a glitch. And so now we're starting to see how all these pieces sort of talk to each other, right, in this ecosystem. Yeah. And then of course the glitch gets deposited or delegated or staked into a PvE field, and then now you have a PvE environment, and then this is where it gets even more crazier. So I'm going to stop right there and see if anyone has any more questions. And I also wanted to point out, like, why is this important? Like, why do this way? We feel like, in our opinion, I think, and I speak for the team here, is that if there's a project not doing it like this, a distributed play to earn, well, I don't want to say play to earn specifically, but a distributed ecosystem, then I don't know if you're really taking advantage of everyone involved in said ecosystem, right? There's the landowner, there's content owner, there's people who don't own land that want to participate in this stuff, right? And so we need to enable that. And if you're not doing so, you are kind of handicapping yourself into potential everything, right? Bigger communities, more engaged communities, more revenue potential, more everything as a result of engaging all the parties that are involved in the metaverse. So that's why this is important. And so, yeah, we're just here to present, all of this today. So any thoughts on that, Iman?
Any thoughts? Yeah, there's tons of thoughts. I guess, yeah, the most important thing, I guess, to identify now, like at this early stage, because this is not, even though like as complex as it looks, just off of the what do you call the guy's name? Charlie
Day, yeah.
Yeah, Charlie Day. It feels like that at first glance. Like I said, like it feels like a mind of madness, just trying to map out like what's going on in this scenario. But really, we're just trying to identify where value is inputted and outputted within the ecosystem, right? And then it's important because this is the ground rules or the groundwork for us to identify where there could be potential holes within the ecosystem, or which levers exist in order to moderate and to buffer certain parts of the economy that might be out of control. Like as long as we can identify those different levers, then we can have the discussions. Okay, like which members of the ecosystem are in control of these levers, right? So it's the first time we actually put everything on paper, like and we're all looking at it like in a cohesive aspect, right? It's all there. We've been rolling everything out in individual components, so it's been hard for anyone to identify like how everything intertwines, right? And that's been our challenge like since the beginning, like trying to spin up verses for the metaverse in this distributed format. It's so hard for anybody from the outside looking in, like how do all these metas like intertwine?
That's right.
So us ourselves as like a team, like MetaZone team, we have to figure out how to come up with this standard of representation. Like how does a verse, how should we present a verse to the outside world? You know what I mean? If we're trying to create one, because it just doesn't make sense. It's not like a game where like, usually like game developers, they spend years developing these ecosystems internally. And then at some point it becomes to like a complete enough state where they could just launch everything at once and hopefully people gravitate towards it. So we're taking a different approach where we're rolling things out individually. So it might not make sense in like the grand scheme of things, how everything connects. Right.
Yes.
So
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, so this is sort of like phase one of kind of describing this entire ecosystem, because what Ivan is talking about is specifically the focus for us as a community is to make this completely sustainable. And so, for example, if I zoom in here and let's say lube is being distributed too much to the owner, for example, or is being distributed too much to the landowner or the meta owner, we have the ability to invoke this power to sustain and reduce whatever is needed to be reduced, or increase whatever is needed to increase. And that's going to be an important function, and things are going to have to be edited as we start releasing the supercharger, for example. Right now, people are digitizing their Rovi with infinite battery, which is okay for now, but eventually we're going to release an update where you digitize and it costs battery energy. And so once you're depleted, you have to visit a supercharger to charge your Rovi. And so then it's going to cost lube to continue digitizing. And so now the person or the landowner who's deployed these superchargers, now they have actual value here, a value extraction as a result of people digitizing their Rovi. And then it's like, well, why digitize in the first place, right? Well, you need to digitize because you need to complete your challenges as a delegate, right? You want to earn this DXP because you're the only member of this community that can acquire these glitches. And why do you need to acquire a glitch? Because it's needed for the PvE environment. And so now like all these like components are talking to each other and they're all important. There isn't an element here that's not important, in other words. So I think this is a kind of good start to kind of like launch this conversation, because once we start putting numbers to these things, then that's when things really matter. And nothing is going to be finished until everything is like fully functioning, and then all these numbers will start to get buffed or nerfed or balanced in a sense, just to make everything work. But yeah, this is it. And I think there's maybe one more item. I think we need to add here it is, the transporter. So yeah, things, hopefully this has some sense. Let me kind of follow up here. So Joker's saying, hey guys, remember me please, just to stay in the call to participate in the Rovi raffle. I don't understand English very well. Okay.
Oh, that's fine, dude. All, non-English speakers welcomed for sure.
Yeah, so I've been looking into that, like a transcription service that can convert everything into multiple languages. So I think we can leverage that here pretty soon. I have so much patience. It's Willis would have been a cute professor.
Imagine that, dude.
I do like explaining stuff for sure, and I feel like I guess my feedback that I get is that I'm able to take complicated things and explain it. So hopefully I'm doing some justice here, even though at first glance this is pretty complex. But
that's one of the first things I said. Okay, like when I was witnessing you guys construct this whole flow diagram ecosystem, was like, it brought back like flashbacks to my organic chemistry days, where I was like very like, it's like, God damn it, dude. It's like, do I really need to understand like every single in and out as far as like how, like,
well, you do. Yeah, that's
how atoms and stuff interact. You do, yeah. If you want to like do anything of significance within that, natural ecosystem that is life,
yeah,
you need to understand the ins and outs as far as like how particles and molecules and atoms and all this stuff, how they interact with one another, right? If you don't, you really don't have an input, like as far as like how things should go, or you can't like theorize any like additional, if you want to be the person who develops, pharmaceutical drugs, that interact with these natural processes, you have to understand this stuff, right? So
yeah,
I think it's important. If anybody wants to be like a long-standing, like significant contributor to the overall ecosystem, AKA DAO governance participants, like you have to understand like just the fundamental like ins and outs of the ecosystem, right? So that's kind of like what this looks like. And of course, this is like V1, right? It's going to expand over time. It's going to change. This isn't natural at all. We've kind of like built this.
Yeah.
This doesn't have to remain. This isn't some sort of like physics scenario, right? Like there's no like crazy like permanent forces at play here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
There are some, like psychological forces, economic forces, I don't know, but nonetheless, like if you understand it like at such a deep level, then you can actually like have an impact on it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. I think everyone involved here, they're going to naturally be invested in this just because everyone has a vested interest to make this sustainable, make this all work. And we're all, everyone here is like part of the node network. And if any one of these like elements don't function properly, like it potentially breaks the whole network. So we need to discuss all of this and then make it sustainable, really. So yeah, I want to see. Maybe the flow chart will be online somewhere so we can make sense of this. Yeah, we're thinking about letting you guys like see this be constructed live here, or we could just make a copy of this and then send it to you guys, and that way you guys can discuss on your own, figure out like what things that might be missing here. And so I think it'll make a lot more sense once we start adding numbers here.
Poker Dog says you look like Matumba Man in Dota 2. I'm trying to think who's Matumba Man.
Who is that?
Oh,
I know Dikembe Mutombo, but I definitely don't look like that guy.
No, it's not the same guy, dude. Matumba Man is a totally different guy. Poker Dog. Sorry, dude. I do play Dota, but yeah, I don't know who you're talking about. But I do know. I just can't draw the face. That's hilarious. Post a picture if you got one, dude. I want to see.
when will the
Oh, wait,
glitches?
Dolly already searched it up. Hold on.
What, what,
What the heck, dude? Take a look at that pic, dude.
what?
That's you.
I don't think so, dude. I disagree.
That's you with the beanie and the beard, dude. I think it's the glasses. That's what's
It
doing
might
it.
be. Yeah, I'm looking at the picture on the site here.
That's great.
I'm gonna say doubt.
Okay, that's fine, dude.
Hold on. I gotta type this out, dude.
That's
There we
so
are.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Cool. What is Dota 2? It's a MOBA. It's just another really popular game that Valve created. Very good game. Very addicting.
Yeah.
Very yeah.
Well, I
That's all.
mean, they're using Dota for AI, like intelligence measurements, right?
Well, they did, yeah. I don't know if they're still doing that. Just like to create like an AI good enough to defeat like the best players within that game.
Yeah.
Because Dota is very challenging. Like it takes years to master that game, you know.
Yeah, it didn't take the AI very long to like defeat everybody, right? So
not at all. The AI it's so well developed, so smart. Like it just knows what you're gonna do. It knows your next step like seconds before you even make it. That's how fucking intelligent it is. You know,
Dang.
It's kind of gross. It's kind of scary. You know.
Well,
anyways,
all right. So let's see. So now we can kind of go over all the different like specific elements of each section here, but I feel like, I mean, ultimately there's just a few components to really understand. Is that anytime you interact with a particular meta, it's going to cost something, and then that cost gets distributed to the landowner, the meta owner, and treasury. So, and then of course, in some cases, it goes to the Rovi owner, and then the delegates, and things like that. But I think here is one of the next metas to be released is going to be the PvE. And so that's why we keep talking about how, you know, the glitches are important to get first, so that once the PvE is released, like there's actual, contributions from the delegate community to populate the PvE with enemies. So so here, user A, user B, let's call this Allison and Bob. Allison with a Rovi, Bob with a glitch. Allison takes the Rovi into the PvE environment and controls it, tries to defeat glitches, and in some cases the glitch defeats the Rovi, and then you have like this split here. So if Rovi is defeated, the loot value goes to the glitch owner, and then if glitch is defeated, the power core and metal hedrons, which is the loot. So now we're entering new. Well, I guess this isn't new ideas here, but we're entering new loot that's going to be needed to upgrade your Rovi. And so the loot here goes to the Rovi owner. So in some cases, it goes to the delegate, and then the lube goes to the manager, I believe. So, and then of course, there's going to be challenges here for the delegate to earn DXP, and now, if a Rovi owner wants to upgrade a Rovi, they're going to need power cores and metal hedrons. Guess who's mining power cores and metal hedrons? The players that are playing the PvE. And so in many cases, it's going to be the delegate. And so clearly the delegate has a ton of value here being extracted from the network.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you want your Rovi to improve, you're going to have to upgrade it. It's going to require these assets. And then, of course, the glitch can be upgraded as well, which is also going to require assets. And so now you have this competing, like, good versus bad in this case. And so, yeah, this is the main reason why we keep talking about glitches and getting that rolled out. So we have a few designs that we share with you guys, and we already have a 3D modeler kind of attacking that already. So we might see some glitch enemies pretty soon. All right. Beard, glasses, beanie at a stretch, and weird. Oh, he looks like a little kid too. Yeah. So that's who's that? Like, where did that guy come from? Like Dota, he was just a player, like a famous player.
Yeah, he's just a pro within the Dota 2
Okay.
community. Yeah. Don't worry, dude. Don't take too much like,
Dude,
you know.
I'm gonna have to start like doing more push-ups or something, dude.
Come on, dude. Don't be so insecure, man. It's cool to be a Dota pro, dude. Don't worry about it, man. You're looking fly, Willis. You're
Or,
fine.
some people say I look like The Rock, so I'll take that.
Okay, you're gonna need to do some
Yeah.
serious push-ups in that case. Then, if you're trying to like mirror The Rock,
Yeah.
dude, you better start waking up earlier, man.
Yeah.
You better start like pounding some more protein shakes throughout the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got a lot of work to do, dude.
Alan Howick, our future AI overlords can lick my plate. I don't know, dude. I wouldn't say that too many times because they have access to all of the internet.
That's true. That's been logged.
Yeah,
That's
that's
in
registered.
their memory now, dude. They're gonna remember that.
Yeah. Poker Dog, he's excited for the PvE. Who's stronger, Rovi or glitches? Yep, you guys will determine that. It will be a true battle. So we got Third Eye with his laughter there. Cool. All right. So Trey, what's the in-game market to exchange value? I like the economy pieces, but I would love to be done in-game over C or OpenSea over OpenSea. Economy
That's
pieces.
a good point. Yeah, dude. Go ahead and shift that over to the transporter section.
Yeah.
And it is like a very important like segment of the ecosystem to kind of like talk about, because I feel like this again, like I feel like we're doing so many like firsts, like, you know, but our knowledge as far as like, you know, neighboring ecosystems is a little limited at the moment. But I feel like we're one of the first ones to attempt like an actual community owned and governed secondary marketplace within the metaverse. We have to be the first.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think there's well, at least we're the first in terms of incorporating this distributed ecosystem. But being able to trade assets on OpenSea, obviously that's, pretty standard. And so introducing the transporter functionality here. So we have weapons and accessories. So how do you get weapons and accessories? You get them via the fabricator, right? You get an accessory by inputting your gears, power cores, and metal hedrons. You get an accessory that goes back to the user. The assimilator gets you weapons. Same thing. Gears, power cores, metal hedrons into the assimilator. And of course, the gears get split to the landowner, meta owner, treasury, just like normal. And then the output is the weapon, who goes back to the user. So now that we have accessories and weapons, you can deposit that into a transporter. So you deposit that into a transporter. The user who is looking to acquire said weapon or accessory will pay for these assets via gears. And then once you pay for those assets, that gears get split to the landowner, meta owner, treasury. So you can either do this off-chain, or you can move this on-chain and then leverage OpenSea. So it's going to be completely up to you guys how you guys want to do that. So you can either deposit it and move and leverage the transporter to move those assets on-chain so that you can sell it on OpenSea, or via the transporter, you might be able to acquire on-chain assets as well. So technically, it's not a problem to figure this out. It's just, what's the UI? Is it going to be easy to understand? And then on top of that, each transporter is not going to host all of the items. You have to go to each individual transporter to see what people have deposited. And since every weapon and accessory is completely unique, you're going to have to go to all the transporters and see what's available to purchase. So that's going to be kind of cool. And it's kind of expected. You don't expect to go to a single transporter and see the entire thing, right? You have to go to all the individual transporters that exist. And obviously the landowner that gets the most volume, the most foot traffic, that's going to be the transporter that's going to have the most content and the most transaction volume and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, it encourages, again, Trey called it a treasure hunt. Yeah, it's just
Exactly.
the exploration of the metaverse, right? You want everyone to have equal chance as far as like establishing value presence, like, what it is as far as content you want to sell, or distribute through your transporter. It's up to the individual owner, right? It's a very diverse ecosystem.
Right.
And it aligns with our whole philosophy, like, is MetaZone, right? Like, we want, even though like we distribute content, in a lot of cases it's like replicas of, I mean, it's the same content pieces. It could be like a mint cap of 1,000, but it doesn't matter. Like, if people who are different, like, landowners and hosts purchase this content, when you visit each location, it's a whole different experience every time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the point. You don't want it to be like a replica experience per host.
Yeah, right? I totally agree.
Same philosophy is being applied to Rovi's for sure.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, we need to rethink this OpenSea thing, because, for example, this transporter, if you deposit these items here and someone purchases these items from the transporter, you are benefiting the ecosystem, right? The gears goes to the land, meta, and then treasury. If you buy these assets from OpenSea, which everyone should have the option to do so, you're not really benefiting the ecosystem all that much. So it's something to think about. I don't think it's a big problem, but I don't know. Maybe we can incentivize people to stick within the transporter somehow.
Yeah. I'm sure we can figure out a good incentive mechanism.
That's true, Alan. But all the items on your wallet, even though they show up on OpenSea, they're not for sale on OpenSea. You have to actually like put them to sale. So that's the only thing. OpenSea fee is high. Yeah, I mean that too. But it's pretty standard. I mean, it's not crazy.
Nonetheless, it's just really cool to see, like, the transporters, the functionality of it, and like the cool, to me, the coolness, the standout factor is like the fractionalization of the secondary marketplace activity. Like the fact, and that's the whole point of the whole meta ecosystem overall, right? It's just fractionalizing the content, the ownership, and distributing it to the whole.
Yeah, and think about it. I mean, you could sell it on OpenSea, but the audience isn't focused enough for this. Mm-hmm. But if you're selling it on Transporter and like people are interacting with it, they're like, because they're interested in what's going on in the Transporter, right? So I think the conversion rate on these transporters are going to be significantly higher than OpenSea. But unless you find like something extremely rare and anything's possible.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of rare Rovies, right? There's some with like 4. They're almost perfect. There's 2 that are almost perfect, and I think you bid on one, right, Iron Man?
I did. Now I'm gonna check right now if let me see the status on that bid. I haven't checked in a little minute.
It's probably expired.
We'll see. Hold on, give me a second. Profile. Come on. Why is it taking so long?
Tranquilo, and a delegate could put 1,000 gears in the transporter, and I could make an offer on OpenSea, right? You could make an offer on OpenSea for sure. Let me think. If you make an offer on OpenSea, I guess you do get pinged via an email. And gears are ERC20 tokens. Yep.
Yeah, I don't have it, dude. So bid was not accepted. Sad day, dude. Do you have like a sad day like button on that Roadcaster somewhere?
I'd have to like trial and error, dude.
Yeah, well, what?
I'd have to do trial and error. That's not it.
I mean, that was kind of scary. So, yeah,
it's close enough. I guess.
Dude, I'll take that. Whatever. Close enough. Yeah. So I didn't get my almost perfect Rovi, unfortunately, but maybe I had to make a higher bid. Totally fine. Totally acceptable.
Yeah. So good question. So only quick swap option. It's likely, yeah, Polygon asset. So yeah, you'd be leveraging quick swap. So I think I don't. I'll share this link with you guys. That way you can kind of flow through this stuff. There's another component here that we need to embed is just the numeric values for each one, and that's where we're gonna have lots of conversations, lots of figuring out how to balance everything. But yeah, I mean, ultimately you're gonna be participating in the PVE to get power cores and DXP, and then the PvP arena. The winner will win lube. It'll get distributed to the delegate manager, if you have one, and then of course there's going to be challenges. The XP is earned by the delegate. So let me see. I had a question around here. So the owner. So if you own a Rovi, I don't think you can participate in like the DXP. So I think that's something else that we need to figure out is if the owner is participating in all this stuff. So yeah. And then, man, what was it? I think there was another element here that I think it was over here. Yeah, because what I'm thinking about is the delegate who is depositing the glitch to the PVE and then upgrading the glitch itself. There might be, if think about this, Iman, if the delegate is the only one who's acquiring these power cores and metal hedrons, and you need power core and metal hedrons to upgrade a glitch, you pretty much have a closed ecosystem where the delegate can have a runaway super glitch. Wouldn't that be right?
Independent of what, like the ones who acquire glitches from the secondary market?
Yes.
I mean, if you're acquiring glitches from the secondary market, so more than likely you're also acquiring the assets being accrued by the same ones who were generating the glitches in the first place, right? So, I mean, yeah, that's the main question, right? Like, how much power and influence are we putting into the delegates' hands, like as far as like supplying the overall economy with valuable goods and assets, right? The whole point is to introduce like all these new tangents of asset ownership and value extraction to the delegate population, right? Mm-hmm. That's the whole point in the first place.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, by only making it or by distributing it across, not just delegates, also, if we split it between the owners and the delegates, it definitely diminishes a little bit of that initial objective, right?
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, we don't know yet, like how much the both sides need to be adjusted, right? At the moment.
Oscar's
we
saying,
do know there's a huge concern though on the delegate side of the equation, right?
There's a concern.
Well, yeah, like a concern of not having enough incentive to.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But Oscar's saying that the power cores and metal hedrons is split between the delegate and the Rovi owner. And so I think there's something that we can play with here where power cores are earned by delegates and metal hedrons are earned by Rovi, but you need both in order to upgrade both assets. That way there's like a balance there too, where not one group is obtaining all the assets that they need. And so they need to come up with a value for each asset so that people can trade based on that value.
Yeah.
So Alan is asking, could you just create a second wallet, move your Rovi over, and delegate to yourself so that you can delegate your Rovi to yourself? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Oscar's confirming that one player can only play so many Rovis in one day, so you need a bunch of loot to upgrade. That's the balance. That's right. Like you could delegate to yourself all day, but you can only manage like a handful of Rovis for that day. And if you have 50 Rovis, obviously you can't delegate all of them to yourself because you just run out of time. So you have to leverage delegates in this, and it makes sense. Okay.
I think we should start the POAPs, dude.
Oh yeah. Let me let's do that.
It's already we're 40 minutes deep, so we're a little late than usual, but that's okay. This was definitely a rich conversation. Let's see. Oscar says you needed a bunch of loot to upgrade. That's the balance. Yeah.
All right. So we have. Hold on. Let me check if this is the correct password and. Okay, we're good. All right. So same process as before. Make sure you DM this MetaZone bot, and the password is Rovi Economy. And let me know if you get the Pope.
All right, looks good, dude. Good password as usual. Always on topic, on brand, every single time, dude. It's always good. So yeah, keep the questions coming, guys. Yeah, this is how are you gonna get like this graphic out to everybody? Like it's just like a PDF or something you can export, or is it the link to this so everybody can kind of look at it?
I think we can do a link or a PDF, like whatever is easier. Third Eye was asking. Yeah, we had mentioned last week that we were gonna bring on like the whole crew. And the reason why I didn't send any of you guys a link was because I wanted to talk about this first, and then have you guys spend a week deliberating amongst yourselves, and then the following week come back on to discuss, whatever details.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
we'll have like a. This is just the visual representation of everything. We'll have like a, I guess like the verbal representation, to be with it, the written side, I guess, and overview to go with each segmented piece.
Yeah.
I think we're going to record like an overall, like a podcast, and we're going to segment that into like pieces for each segment of the ecosystem and create like an overall ecosystem mapping, just like a digest, right? So
yeah.
I'm not sure if we're going to publish that as a Medium article, or most likely that's the most logical way to do that. So we'll put that out before next week's call so everyone has time to digest that. And then, that we need a roundtable for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Medium makes sense. I think we're going to do a tweet thread with all the details here. Like I said, this is a pretty big deal on operating within the metaverse. This is like fundamental. I think this is the MVP if you're going to create an ecosystem like this in the metaverse. I don't think if you do this in a centralized location, I just don't think you're really optimizing the potential here. So yeah, I think this would be the best example of this ecosystem sustaining itself.
Nice. You guys got your POAPs. Very cool. All right, cool.
Okay.
All right, so we went over the I guess there is an article that kind of sparked this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how valuable it is to link this article. I mean, why not? I mean, it's a decent one.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, see if you can find that, and if you can put it in the chat so everyone can kind of like read over it. The publisher of this article is kind of claiming, or he's putting out there, proposing what needs to be done from a developer standpoint as far as like making it a sustainable play to earn ecosystem. It's not necessarily metaverse correlated. It's more just like a play to earn standalone game ecosystem. So I think he's more addressing like the Axie Infinity replica market.
Yeah.
Right. It's a big one. After Axie was like a runaway success, everybody kind of like spun up their own versions of it. And now like that, the whole ecosystem is kind of like, experiencing a pullback, like a back to reality moment. It was like, okay, there's a lot. Economic sustainability is much more complex than like most people thought. You know what I mean? So this article kind of addresses, facets within those ecosystems, like as far as like what needs to be considered from a developer standpoint. But once we read this article, we agreed with a lot of it, but we also disagreed in the sense like this doesn't really apply exactly to what it is we're trying to construct, because the metaverse just introduces so many other components that these publishers don't even like consider.
Yeah,
they don't even know.
Yeah, because from a traditional play to earn perspective, it's the team coming up with a scheme to have this play to earn mechanic, and then that's about it. but there's no elements of like metaverse components in there at all, and it drastically changes the design of everything. And you have to properly incentivize everybody, right? You can't just if you don't incentivize all the parties involved, it breaks the entire ecosystem. So Niao is saying, this reminds me of how devs are still trying to create World of Warcraft killers. Dude, that's such a good explanation. Now, happening in Web3, others trying to invent the next Axie Infinity. Exactly. And this is sort of what you would expect because, like, oh, look, Axie Infinity is $1 billion company. Let's just replicate that and let's extract some of the network effect that Axie had. And we saw this with DeFi and all these vampire projects. And so it's sort of expected, but I mean, if the metaverse is going to be this $1 trillion behemoth that everyone is claiming it's going to be, and it's not going to be through a play to earn model that mimics Axie or any play to earn that's like centralized to that extent. It just won't happen.
Damn, dude, stamp it, dude. Why don't you?
There's a line here that I really liked at the end. So let me just read this. He says, credit to Charlemagne where credit is due, the medieval feudal era that emerged principally as a result of decentralization of empires seems to have reared its head once again in the lumberjack's economic model as outlined above. And so I'll explain a little bit what he's talking about. Lumberjack versus, what's the other one? Gladiator. Okay. So he says here, and similar to the gladiator's economic model, game developers in this case, oh, sorry, that's not what I want to read. It is right here. It's not far-fetched to imagine a future in the next 1 to 2 years where we'll have virtual farmland owned by virtual barons, tilled by virtual serfs, who will eventually save up enough in-game currency or fungible tokens to purchase the land they virtually stand on. And he says, dystopian? Perhaps. But so is a 60-plus hour work week in a 10% inflation world without the ability to feasibly own a home or retire before the age of nearly 70. At least this gives us some options. So I thought this was perfect because if you thought the metaverse is a dystopian sort of outcome for humanity, like we're in the midst of dystopia at the moment. So I thought it's a nice cap to the end.
What a hell of a closing shock statement, eh? Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So he alludes to the metaverse idea of like owning land and like, but misses the whole sustain factor of something like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, everybody's trying to like put the finger on like what it is, what are the actual problems and what are the solutions, and that's where we are right now. That's literally the whole point of a bear cycle. It's just to figure out, what is it that cratered the market in the first place? Why do people have disbelief all of a sudden, as opposed to total euphoric belief that existed like less than a year ago, right? So we have to identify these realities and address them. So it's a good article. I thought it
is a good. And he does talk about some of the elements that we've already implemented in our ecosystem. It's the concept of the gladiator versus lumberjacks. So it's very simple. I'm not sure why he used these terms. I think he was like referring to a game or something, but basically a lumberjack is a low risk player in the ecosystem. A low risk player would be just like someone who only spectates and doesn't really participate in like high risk behavior, like a PvP battle where there's a lot more at stake. And then the gladiator is a high risk player, one who only focuses on PvP, right? That could be the potential owners of Rovies or delegates who only want a PvP battle and don't want to spectate to earn. So yeah, that's it. That's that simplified.
Yeah, I love Alan Howick's always interjecting with some realist advice.
Yeah, hedge your bets. Hedge your bets, get together with some friends, and buy some real farmland.
Always hedge your bets, lads. Always and lasses.
It's funny, Alan. I mean, we must be on the same wavelength because we've had this discussion recently, like within the last couple of weeks, and so you're not far off, my friend. Neb, and silver bars. Yeah, that's the thing, Neb. We talked about this too, and Bitcoin, silver bars, gold, like all of that is useless. And in this particular scenario.
Whoa.
But we're talking about extreme survival here, so.
Yeah, that's why it's called a hedge, right? It's still not a bad thing to acquire, you know.
These, yeah.
Non-correlated. Well, I say non-correlated. I think precious metals took like a massive fat hit today. I think as a result of like the inflation numbers like being worse than anticipated.
Yeah.
Like, oof, that's a strong signal, dude. That's kind of scary. Like when precious metals take a hit, that means like there's some serious whatever.
Well, but you know what?
That's a whole different topic.
They take a hit. I mean, everything is taking a hit at that point because there's no safety net whatsoever. The only safety net would be farmland.
Silver can purify water. Dude, I love this community, dude. It's like right up my alley. Talking about metaverse, now we're talking about survivalism, dude. It's perfect. This is exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah, the same side of the coin, dude.
It's perfect. So yeah, we always end on like a doomsday note. Yeah. I don't know why. It's so good. Okay. Yeah, let's do the giveaway, dude. We got like 5 minutes left.
Oh damn, what the hell? So wait, Third Eye, why do you think that Bill Gates is buying up all the farmland? That's true, dude.
I think he is.
He is.
Doesn't he own like the biggest like seed like he's like the harbor of like the most like seeds, I think, or something like that. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, they will start to implement into food and depopulation. Dang. All right, on that happy note, let's give some NFTs away.
We coming to Iman's for oh no, dude. I mean, I do got a lot of chickens, but yeah.
Yeah,
I have more than enough. Well, not yet, but like in a month or two, I'll probably have more than enough eggs to go around.
We're gonna start our own network trade.
Dude, it's so good though. I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's always.
I don't know, man. I already told Iman. We discussed this topic like pretty like regularly. I tell him that I'm pretty optimistic that humanity will figure it out. But
yes, you are. You're very optimistic.
I'm optimistic, but I'm not always right. So there's that too.
Yeah. See, I don't think you had that perspective until like Bitcoin didn't crack 100K this cycle. Like now,
oh shit!
Now you've come to that realization. It's like, damn, dude. It's like maybe I shouldn't just trust my word. You know what I mean? Things could deviate.
Yeah, I mean,
strongly.
And for the last, I would say 30 years, everything's been going up on average. And so things that go up have to go down. So at some point, your predictions will come true. We just don't know when.
Yeah, but that's the problem, though. It's like I don't want them to come true. I don't want to be like, see, I told you guys so. You know?
No, I know. I agree. I agree.
But yeah, it could happen. Anyways. Independent of that, we got some cool stuff to give away. Hopefully, you know, what we just discussed as far as like, this is like V1 exposure to you guys, like as far as like what's been in our heads, as far as the overall ecosystem cohesiveness contains. There's a lot more, I think that's going to stem from this. Like, just correlate this to like the early discussions of like, what blockchain is. Like nobody knew what was going to be like the end game result of it all, right? But nonetheless, everybody within that community understood like there's some value being generated here. Like this is interesting stuff. This is a new paradigm. So that's where we are, I think. So we're trying to like, you know, contextualize this paradigm that we think we're on the verge of creating. So hopefully you guys agree with us. And yeah, like stick around because it's going to evolve for sure, just like blockchain did. Right. So the whole metaverse paradigm is not like this is it. This is just the start of what we think. And yeah, tune in Monday because we did attend the what's it called? The Metaverse Standards Forum call last night. It was an interesting one. I have some opinions to discuss like, as far as like what I think. As far as like what I witnessed, it's like I don't know. It definitely wasn't what I was expecting, but
yeah.
Nonetheless, it's still important, dude. Like some of the attendees of this call were like, I mean, they're the biggest companies in the world: Samsung, you know, Oracle. I'm not sure
That's
what
so
cesium
weird.
is. It sounds big. You know what I mean? All the standards organizations were there, and they were like within this Zoom call that we're in right now, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's like, I don't know. I don't know if Samsung really has vested interest in the metaverse. Not yet, at least.
No, I mean, that's the thing. It felt very corporate. It was just, they had representatives of these ginormous companies attend these calls, but you think they're really doing anything like as far as like absorbing it like significantly and like, you know, no.
Yeah.
No.
So
I think it's just corporate protocol to like attend, you know.
Head over to the giveaway channel and interact with that bot. You only have a few minutes. I think there's like 2 or 3 minutes left. So that way we don't take too much of your day here. We have 3 minutes left.
So what are we giving away?
So we got a lot. We got 7 items to give away. The first 3 are going to be Rovi accessory NFTs. The 4th person will win a Rovi backpack NFT. And the last 3 are going to win a Rovi hat wearable NFT.
Beautiful. All right. Very cool, guys. Thanks for coming once again.
Man. So yeah, you attended this Metaverse forum. We're going to be talking about that on Monday. I think we should still do this video here to discuss like the economics of play to earn, because he's proposing a fix.
Look what P-Dub just said.
Okay. P-Dub is saying, big news from our friends at MetaKey. Artifact will be joining their new metaverse, Ganymede.
Wow. Not surprised one bit, dude.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. Artifact is huge. Nike, and MetaKey. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think MetaKey's
Artifact was their 2nd edition MetaKey, right? The creator.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Or the inspiration behind the design for the 2nd edition or 3rd, maybe one of the 2. So yeah, I'm not surprised one bit, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Maddie doing Maddie's typical thing, dude. Yeah. He's got like superpower clout in this Web3 space, so not surprised at all. And new Ganymede is looking pretty cool, man.
Yeah, like, it is. Yeah,
it's definitely a game I would just play. Just like it looks like it. I don't know. I haven't actually got in there yet, but I mean, it's again, yeah. Maddie's a marketing god, so like he knows exactly what it is I want to see, right? And like the majority of people want to see. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I suggest all Rovi owner managers grab at least one MetaKey. Yeah, and they're at reasonable prices right now, right, Iman?
Oh, everything's at a reasonable price, dude. I've been considering like swooping up like, hold on, what was it? NFT art.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I was just thinking about it. It's like, I always envied like all the art collectors back in the day because the market was so overinflated. It's like, dude, I want a bunch of this art, but I couldn't afford it. I still can't really afford it, but like, you know, if I were to pick anything as far as like, you know, what I want to sweep the floor with, it would probably be that, you know, like some cool Fuosha, some cool Beeple stuff, you know, just go out there and just have a fucking blast collecting art.
Yeah, as far as investments goes, Maddie has the right strategy. He invests in like for example, he has over 80 clones, and he just waits on them. He doesn't need to flip them in any near term like most degens do. He just waits for the next cycle, and then that's how you
that's called rich man syndrome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
See, we have to deal with poor man syndrome, where like, you know, poor man syndrome is a painful syndrome to have.
Yeah,
it's like
it doesn't allow you to think properly, for sure.
Yeah, you can't really take, you know, risks like that and just like, just forget that you even took them in the first place, right? That's rich man syndrome. It's like, and then, you wake up a few years later, like, whoa, I have this $1 million thing. I didn't even know I fucking bought it in the first place. That's rich man syndrome. Poor man syndrome is the total opposite. It's like, damn, this is this thing I bought. Like, I think it's going to be worth $1 million in the future, but I'm so poor.
I got to sell it
I need
now.
to sell it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And then you missed out on that huge gain.
Oh, damn, we got winners. Let's see. All right, Jay Summers, Benj, Alan Howick, look at that. Zen Master. We got Gummy Bear. Why do I recognize your name, Gummy Bear? We got Ice Player, and then Dahlia. Uh-oh. Dahlia's going to have to give her item away. It's a Rovi hat. Dahlia, if you could pick a random commenter on the comments, please do so. P-Dub, I've never won a giveaway. Really? You've never won a giveaway?
Will Rovi be a new Ganymede? I mean, it all depends if they have like an overly functional SDK or not. I know they have like a good rendering capability, right? Like I've seen the CyberKongs, they rendered their avatars within that world, but can that metaverse support like all the functionality that Rovi's needs? It's to be determined,
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll have to set up a call with Maddie.
Yeah, but we definitely want to exist in as many like critical metaverse ecosystems as possible. Yeah, it really requires like a very robust and dynamic and functional SDK environment, for us to. I mean, we just showed you guys the complexity of our ecosystem. If we cannot maintain that complexity within a metaverse, we just cannot be there. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just going to be us, like moving around.
Yeah.
As opposed to doing anything useful. You know what I mean?
Jay Summers. Okay, so I think we're waiting for Dahlia. She says that she wants it. Well.
Oh yeah. I mean, is anybody mad that Dahlia gets like what is it? The hat?
The Rovi hat?
Dude, let Dahlia have the hat, guys. Don't be assholes about it. All right, she got the hat.
All right,
dude.
she keeps the hat. All right, there's a P-Dub. I'm a keymaster, so if they give me some land, I'll be able to test out Rovi metas in New Ganymede. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm sure keymasters are going to get the lion's share of the land there. Congrats, winners. Yeah. All right, so I think we've covered everything on the call. Thank you guys for showing up as always. We're going to be doing this again next week, 10 p.m. UTC. Of course, join us on Monday. We're going to be talking more metaverse standards and like iMan's experience there in the corporate world of the metaverse. And yeah, thank you guys always. And hopefully you have enjoyed a safe and happy weekend. And we will see you potentially Monday.
Yes. See you later, everybody.
All right, guys.
Coming. Bye-bye.
Until Monday.
Love you guys. Peace.